Great personalities often conveyed their message through stories because they knew that if something could be taught to someone, it could be conveyed much more easily through stories. When someone talks about knowledge in a similar manner, people pay more attention to what they hear in a story. So, my friends, I am going to share such a story of Lord Buddha that will engross your mind in all your endeavors. However, you'll have to listen to this story to the end. Finish all your work and sit down with an empty mind, because knowledge can only be absorbed with an empty mind. Let's start the story. Once, a guru was teaching meditation to his disciples when one of them spoke up and said, "Guruji, I cannot understand something. Can I ask you a question?" The guru replied, "Yes, you may ask." The disciple asked, "When I drink water, my thirst is quenched instantly, and the same happens when anyone else drinks water. Why doesn't this happen with meditation? When we meditate as you instruct, some achieve the meditative state earlier, some later, and some never attain it. Why doesn't it happen like this? Just as everyone's thirst is quenched with water, similarly, everyone's knowledge should open up through meditation." "But it doesn't happen that way," the disciple said. The guru replied, "Tomorrow, someone has invited us for a meal. Tomorrow, you should come with me, and I will answer your questions there." The next day, both the guru and the disciple arrived at a wealthy man's house for the meal. The husband of the wealthy man's wife was also sitting for the meal. He shouted at all his servants, saying, "What kind of tasteless food have you prepared? There's no flavor in it." He threw the meal plate and told the servants to bring it again with better food. The wife of the wealthy man apologized to both the guru and the disciple and began serving them the meal. They had the meal, but the guru left 2 rotis on his plate. The guru asked the woman, "Can you tie these 2 rotis for me, dear?" The woman tied the 2 rotis and handed them to the guru. After that, they both left the place. On the way, the guru asked the disciple, "How did you find the meal?" The disciple replied, "The meal was delicious, and I liked it. I felt very good after having the meal. My hunger was satisfied, and my stomach was full." The guru said, "The meal was indeed good, but why didn't the husband of that woman like it? The meal was good, and there was only one meal, so why didn't he like it?" The disciple said, "You are right, Guruji, I can't seem to understand." The guru replied, "Just keep following me for now." As they continued walking, they went quite far. The disciple asked the guru, "Gurudev, we seem to be far from our ashram's path. Where are we going?" The guru said, "Just keep walking." After walking a long distance, a famished man came before the guru and fell at his feet. He said, "O Lord, please help me. I have been starving for 3 days, and I haven't eaten anything. Please, could you give me something to eat?" The guru made the man sit under a tree and gave him the 2 rotis that the woman had tied for him. Upon seeing the rotis, the poor man's eyes lit up. He immediately consumed the 2 rotis, and tears welled up in his eyes as he ate. He was crying and eating, making gestures as if he was thanking an invisible force for the blessed meal. After finishing his meal, the man paid his respects to the guru and expressed his gratitude. The guru asked him, "How did you find the taste of the meal?" The man replied, "There was no taste at all. It was not just breed, it was life itself, a connection to the divine and the universe. These rotis were not just food, they were life." Saying this, the man left the place. The guru turned to his disciple and said, "You see, the meal was the same, but one person couldn't find any taste in it, while you liked it. However, that man didn't taste the food. He saw the divine, the supreme, and life itself in it. This shows that there's a difference between a person and the satisfaction of a meal. Some find no satisfaction, some find a little, and some find eternal satisfaction. The same goes for meditation, where those with a greater thirst find the path more quickly." The disciple's curiosity was resolved, He found answers to his questions, but we did not find answers to ours. The question was, why doesn't the mind settle? What settles is not the mind. The nature of the mind is to flee when we have an excess of something. Just like the rich man's mind was fleeing from the food. For him, it was a common thing. But when something is limited in quantity and we obtain it, our mind remains attached to it, and we attach some importance to that thing, just like the disciples' desire was somewhat connected to the taste of the food. When we desire something and do not have it, our mind eagerly yearns for it. In any case, he wants to obtain it. But when something is closely related to life, such as 2 pieces of rotis, and when it comes to survival, the mind disappears. At that point, you don't taste, you don't see the type of food. You simply need the food. You become focused, and whatever you get for your meal, that brings you joy. Whether it tastes good or not, the essence is that the life force within accepts it. And this happens when the mind is not present. We make a lot of effort to engage our minds, try to focus on our studies, or put effort into our work. But you must have noticed that the mind doesn't settle anywhere. And it can't, because its purpose is not to settle in anything, but to distract you when something comes your way. So, taking it to another thing, when you get something else, you forget about the second thing. The mind doesn't understand contentment, it only knows acquisition. After acquiring, it knows forgetting. There is a habit of leaving what you have and a habit of trying to regain what you've lost, both within the mind. Look back at the past phases of your life and consider whether your mind has settled anywhere, paused somewhere, or if it has only been chasing you away until now. Now the question arises, if the mind's job is to run away or drive away, will we keep running for our entire lives? Will we never stop anywhere? If you look closely, life is just like that. From birth to death, humans keep running, sometimes behind one thing and sometimes behind another. Yet, some individuals encounter exceptions and come to a halt. They stop running, and that's when things start chasing them. They don't chase after anything. The best example of this is Gautam Buddha. How can we bring stability into our lives? How can we bring focus into our lives? How can we control our minds in our lives? There is only one way, and that is meditation. The mind runs, but meditation brings stillness. The mind tempts, but meditation provides the perspective to see through the temptation. The mind says, chase after something else. But meditation says, understand and appreciate what you already have. Meditation brings focus, but even with meditation, we sometimes remain confused. Meditation is often misunderstood as simply closing your eyes and sitting quietly. It's like a little girl who plays a beautiful tune on her flute and gets lost in the melody. Her mind disappears, and her life force immerses itself in that tune. This happens because she finds joy in what she's doing. It's her nature. She does what brings her joy. A teacher who educates students gets lost in the process. They take pleasure in guiding their students with their life force. In her, there's an interest. That's her nature. When she's reading, there's no disturbance in her mind. She neither thinks about the past nor the future. She only resides in the present moment, and that's her meditation. If a person becomes entirely what they are, then meditation naturally happens, and they become focused. However, when a person tries to be something else, their mind starts to wander. Concentration is broken, and that's when we keep running. Even though we've attained everything, we still feel like something is left incomplete. Because you could have been what your nature was. You didn't become. Everything else did. In such a state, you always remain incomplete, and that's when the mind doesn't settle. Whether the nature of the mind settles or not, how does it settle? What settles is concentration. What is meditation? And wherever you find that concentration, understand that it's meant for you to become complete. So, friends, how did you like this story? Please let us know in the comment section. And yes, if you liked it, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more enlightening stories and discussions. Stay blissful until next story.